What is the meaning of life? And what is the reason why we exist? I believe both of these questions to be based on an assumption that I'm really surprised has gone so unquestioned for so long. That assumption being that there's an answer, as opposed to several answers, none of which in and of themselves suffice. I do believe that the latter question actually makes an equivocation with the word reason. Because you see, the word reason is a word that could be used to convey some sort of subjective purpose, like intention, right? But it could also be used to refer to a cause or an explanation for why something is the case. So when we ask ourselves the question of why do we exist, I think that a lot of us really never pause and stop to think which version of reason are we referring to when we ask that question. And this is where a lot of us get confused. Once upon a time, I believed in a God. This God decided what my purpose was, and all I had to do was fulfill that purpose which was already assigned to me. This is surely a lot simpler than figuring out purpose for myself. Many religious people look at life as though its purpose is simply to have a family and reproduce. And really that's it. You get married and you have kids, and then that's just the point. That's the meaning of life, other than worshiping God nonstop, right? But then other theistic people may potentially think that there is some reason why God put them here. And they're trying to figure out what that reason is. Did God put them here so that they could make music that's going to touch the lives of millions of people? Did God put them here so that they could, provide electricity to a country that lacks it, so that they could, alleviate poverty or suffering? Like, why did God put you here? That's what you're trying to figure out when you believe in a God. So getting back to the two different types of reasons, from the atheistic perspective, there is no purpose type of reason for why I exist. The reason I exist is because my parents reproduced. And we could add reasons to that. Oh, well, why do they exist? Is always the follow-up question. Because their parents, my grandparents reproduced, and so forth and so forth. That's the reason as far as the explanation goes. But there isn't a reason why I exist as far as some predetermined purpose that I have to just fulfill, but that purpose is already assigned. You don't have that. In a sense, this is intimidating. In another sense, it sets us free. There's a saying that I always bring up that is not my own, but is relevant to this topic. Saying that if there's no God, what's the purpose of life is like saying if there's no master, whose slave will I be? Maybe you're failing to understand that it's better to not be a slave. But inversely, I do empathize with, as I said earlier, the fact that it's so much easier for a person to just go about fulfilling a purpose that they believe has already been assigned to them. Though, in defense of the atheistic side, the theist doesn't actually know what that purpose is. They just believe that God gave them one. But with both reason for existence and meaning, the theist believes that these already exist, but they have to find out what this reason is or what this meaning is. The atheist, on the other hand, simply has to find areas that this kind of meaning can be derived from. Either of them can fail or succeed at achieving their meaning or purpose.